Today, we'll be doing a pre-trip for Prince George's County Public Schools. If you are a trainee with us, this is the only pre-trip you will ever need. From the front of the bus, with the engine off, we are going to check underneath to make sure that there are no puddles, which would indicate a leak, that the bus does not lean left or right, which could be a suspension problem. We are also going to check all the lenses on the front to make sure that they are secure and they are of the proper color and in working condition, not cracked or missing. I now will open the hood. We will start with the master cylinder and the brake fluid. We're going to make sure that it is properly secured and not leaking. We will make sure that the fluid level is between add and full. Next, we'll go to the oil dipstick. To check that, we'll remove the dipstick, wipe it off, reinsert it, pull it back out, and it should read between add and full. You do not have to perform this task. You need to know how to do it and say it. This is the coolant reservoir. We'll check to make sure that it is properly secured. It is not leaking. The hoses are properly clamped, also not leaking. And the fluid level is between add and full. This is the power steering reservoir. It's properly secured, not damaged or leaking. I would check the fluid level here, the same as I did on the oil. Here. This is the steering gearbox and its hoses. We're going to make sure that it's not damaged or leaking and that it's properly secured. No missing nuts or bolts. The hoses are properly clamped with no pinholes or leaks. The connecting links, arms, and rods are secure, not worn or cracked. Joints and sockets are not worn or loose, and there are no missing nuts, bolts, and cotter pins. I'm going to check all the hoses on this side to make sure that they are properly clamped, that there are no pinholes and no leaks. And at this time, we'll go to the other side of the bus. From the right or passenger side of the vehicle, I'm going to check all my hoses on this side to make sure that they also are properly clamped and not leaking. Suspension. I will check my shock absorber to make sure it's securely mounted top and bottom and that it is not leaking. I will check my spring mounts, front and rear, to make sure that there are no cracked or broken hangers, no broken or loose or missing bolts or U-bolts. I'm going to check my leaf springs to make sure that they are properly secured and they are not shifted, cracked, or broken. Now I'll be doing the brake system. I will do my brake lines and hoses to make sure that they are properly secured, not cracked, worn, or leaking. On the front side, I will check the pads to make sure that they are thick and not worn dangerously thin and properly secured. I will check my rotor to make sure it is properly secure, it's smooth, not grooved or damaged, and there is no grease, oil, or any contaminants. My tire. My tread depth should be no less than 4/32 of an inch checked with a tread depth gauge. The tread should be evenly worn with no ply showing. The inner and outer walls should have no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions. The valve stem is accessible. It's not leaking. I checked the pressure here with the pressure gauge. My rim is not cracked, bent, or broken, and there are no illegal welds. My lug nuts are all present No signs of looseness, such as shiny threads or deep rust trails. My hub seal there has no missing or loose nuts and bolts, and it is not leaking. Now I'm going to go to the front, close the hood to continue my pre-trip. I will make sure I get both sides properly latched. And I will continue my pre-trip on the left or driver's side. From this side, I'm going to check my driver's mirror. The bracket should be secure to the bus, and the mirrors should both be secure to the bracket and not broken or damaged or missing. Now we're going to do the battery box. I'm going to make sure that the door and the box are secure to the frame, that the batteries are secure, the connections are tight with no corrosion, and that the wires are secure and not damaged. And at this point, I'll close the door. This time, we're coming down the right side of the bus. From here, I'm going to check all my lenses and my reflectors to make sure that they are secure, not damaged, and they are the proper color, yellow in the front on the reflectors and lights, and red in the back. At this point, we're going to check the DEF tank. We'll open the door. We're going to make sure that the tank is secured to the frame, not damaged, not leaking. The cap is present and tight. Under here, we're going to check our frames and cross members. Make sure there are no cracks or broken welds. There's no damage to the main frame and cross members, and no holes in the floor. Back here, we have the fuel tank. We're going to open the door, make sure that the tank is secure to the frame. We're going to make sure that there are no leaks and that the cap is on tight and not leaking. We will now go around to the rear of the bus. The rear of the bus, we're going to check all the reflective tape to make sure it's intact. We'll check all the lenses to make sure that they are secure, not damaged or missing. We will check the back door to make sure that it opens and closes freely from the outside. And now we're going to check the service door to make sure that it opens and closes freely, that the glass and the seals are intact, and they are not damaged or missing. You must remember that anytime I am entering the bus, I must maintain 3 points of contact. I will start by making sure that the flooring is secure, that's well grooved and not smoothed. I'll check my handrails to make sure that they are securely mounted, not loose or missing. The step light should be secure, not damaged or missing. As I come up the stairs, I'm going to check the cameras to make sure that they are secure and clean. I will check my safety equipment. I have my ABC fire extinguisher that's securely mounted. I have my first aid kit securely mounted and fully stocked. Over on the other side, I have my body fluid kit also securely mounted and fully stocked. Behind my seat is a red box that contains 3 reflective triangles that are securely mounted. This bus is run on circuit breakers, which are located out here outside this window. At this time, I'm going to check my windshield. I want to make sure it's securely mounted, and that the seals are intact, that there are no obstructions, no cracks, and no damage. I will check my mirrors to make sure that they are all adjusted for me. That would be my left and right mirrors and all of my student mirrors. Now I will check my seatbelt I want to make sure that it is securely mounted to the bus, that it adjusts for me, and that it will latch securely and properly. At this time, I'm going to do my backup brake motor check. I'll put my foot firmly on the brake pedal, and I should hear the backup motor engage. At this time, we're going to do a safe start. I'll put my key in the ignition and turn it to the on position. I am waiting for the wait to start light and the ABS light to go out. When that happens, I'll start my vehicle. First thing I will do is my hydraulic brake check. I will put my foot on the brake pedal. I will pump it 3 times. 1, 2, 3 times. And on that 3rd time, I will hold it for 5 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. And the brake pedal did not move, so my brakes are working properly. I will check my parking brake. I will make sure that my parking brake is engaged, and I will put the vehicle in drive. I will lightly accelerate, and the vehicle does not move. To check my service brake, we only talk about it, we don't actually do it. But first, you would tell them you're going to release your parking brake. With your foot on the brake, you would put your transmission in drive, and you would drive 5 miles an hour straight ahead. You would then apply the brakes, and the bus should not go left nor right and should stop completely. At this time, we're going to do our heaters and defrosters. Our heater's here and our defroster is here. We'll put it on low, and we'll bring our hand and test to make sure it's working, and we'll do it on high. And we'll say our heater is working properly. This is the defroster. We will check that on low by putting our hand up by the windshield, and on high to make sure it's working properly. At this point, we're going to check our dash lights. We'll make sure our left turn signal is working, our right turn signal is working, our hazard lights are working, my high beam indicators are working. I will check the DEF tank gauge to make sure it has at least 1/4 of a tank at all times. We will check our wiper and washer. The wiper arm should be securely mounted to the bus, the wiper blade securely mounted to the arms and making proper contact with the windshield. We will check them on low and on high. And we will check the fluid to make sure it's working as well. And they are working properly. We will check the horn to make sure it works properly. Now we will start and check the seating. At this point, we're going to check the seating. We're going to make sure that our frames are secure to the floor and that our cushions are secure to the frame. I would check all the seats all the way back the same way as I did this front one. Going to the rear of the bus, I'm going to check my emergency exit to make sure that it opens and closes freely and the buzzer sounds. And it does. As I go forward, I'm going to check my emergency exit window. I will pull the handle up and push the window to open it. I will pull it shut and make sure that the buzzer sounds. I will do this side the same as I did the first one. For the hatch, I will turn the handle until I hear the buzzer. And then I'll go back. If I was in a real emergency, I would turn the handle all the way and I would push open the hatch, which then creates a place for us to escape. And now we're going to go outside and do a lamp check. Please remember to turn the bus off and put it in the on position. We're going to push the lamp check button here, and we're going to go check all our lights outside. I'm going to start checking with my step light, and it's working properly inside and outside. I will come around to the front of the vehicle. I want to make sure that I'm checking all my lenses to make sure that they are properly secured and the proper color, starting with my clearance lights, my red loading lights, my yellow amber student lights, my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my hazard lights, my headlights, and my high beams. Moving around to the left side of the vehicle. Again, we'll start at the top. We're checking our clearance lights for proper color, that they are properly secured, and that they are not damaged and they are working properly. We also have our side marker lights. Amber in the front and reflectors red in the back. In the back, we're checking our clearance lights to make sure that they are red and working properly. I have my amber student lights, my red student loading lights. I have my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my four-way hazard lights. I have my brake lights and my tail lights. I have my reverse lights, all working properly back here. Now I'm going to come around and do the right side of the vehicle. I will check the lights on this side the same as I did on the other side for proper color, proper working order, and securely mounted. This time I'm going to activate my student lights to make sure that they are working properly, that the crossing gate will open and the stop arm comes out. With the door in the open position, I can activate my lights. At this point, we'll come to the front of the bus and check our crossing gate to make sure that it engages and it is out completely. We will come around to the left side of the vehicle and check our stop arm to make sure that it is opening completely, that both lights are working on both sides properly. And if we step back from the vehicle, you can see our strobe light working properly up on top of the bus in the rear.